I feel like I'm gonna rewind. Jersey Shore fist bump. Bloopers for days. Hi guys, welcome to episode number 6 of Happy Hour with Hope, which is also the first episode of the month of March. And just like you guys saw last month, each month we're going to have a different topic to run through related to something educational in the photography or small business world. So this month we're going to be talking all about off season. I asked you guys on Instagram what you wanted to learn the most, and a lot of you guys liked the idea of learning about ways to optimize your time during the slowest seasons of business as photographers to build yourself a platform for success and for organization and to make your life easier for the remainder of the year when busy season picks back up. For me, I work on the East Coast, which means that I typically shoot the most during April and May, and then again in the busy season in the summer in like June, and then again in the fall in October and November. So our life is absolutely insane for the majority of the year except for the slow seasons of December through March. So during those seasons, I work really, really hard and hustle really, really hard to make sure that I get all of the off-season work done that I can that I don't have time to do during the busier months. So each week this month, I'm going to break down one task that you can complete during the off season to set your business up for success for the rest of the year. So these videos are going to be a little bit different because I want these to be bite-sized information that you can listen to and learn from. And then I want you to download the free workbook or guide below because I'm going to walk you through step by step how to actually work through and implement these tasks that I'm going to be teaching you how to do. Because there's a lot of different steps, there's a lot of different ways that you can implement this, but I'm going to break down exactly how I do it and ask you questions and walk you through the process so you can complete these tasks in your business in the same way that I do them in mine. So for today's video, we are going to break down how you can catch up on your blogging from the busy season. Because if you're blogging, we talked a little bit about this last month, but if you're blogging, the most important piece of blogging is consistency. Because you need to be consistently sharing with your audience in order to teach them that your content is important and to teach them to come back to read more from you on your blog. But if you got really, really overwhelmed during the busy season, or maybe you just didn't get a chance to start blogging last year, the off season is an awesome time to begin blogging and catch up on sharing your work that you may have missed during the busier times. So I'm going to share 4 things that I talk about and share about on my blog during the off season and 4 ways you can catch up on your blogging and get your audience excited about the content that's to come. So like I said, I'm going to break down those 4 things, but make sure you download that free guide below because it's going to be more like a workbook this month to walk you through how to implement blogging into your business, how those workflows look like in my business, and what's the most important things for you to share in your business specifically. So the first thing that I think is super important to blog during your off season and something that I've done every year since my business began is blogging the best of my work from the previous year. So each year, as soon as off season begins, typically in December, I share the best of my work in 3 categories: weddings, engagements, and seniors, because those are the 3 services that I offer within my business. And what I do, it's a very time-consuming process, is I go back through every single gallery from the previous year and select my absolute favorite images to share. And then I take all those images, I put them in Blog Stomp, which is one of the programs we talked about last month, and I share them on my blog to create the best of my work posts for the whole year. And one of the best parts about this process is if you have not blogged for the entire year, or maybe you just fell off of your workflow, you're getting your audience excited about your blog again by sharing the best work from the entire year, the best of the best, your highest portfolio that you want to share. It's going to be the first thing that your audience sees going into a new year. So I highly recommend going back through your work and walking through finding the best images from that year. And if you want to see exactly how I do that process, download the free workbook below because I'm going to break it down step by step. The second thing I do is educational, which is like something like Happy Hour with Hope, where I'm teaching other photographers. So when I'm thinking about my content, I want to make sure that I'm doing year in review posts related to my personal life in addition to my professional work. So if I share the best of my work from the whole year, I also want to share the highlights of my life from that year so that I can connect with my audience past just my work. So I go back through the entire year, I break it down month by month, and what I do is I scroll through my camera roll and I see what the highlights were from each month. What were the trips that I went on? What were the exciting business things that happened? What were the trials that I faced? And I break down an entire post of my whole year in review, and I include tons of iPhone images and professional images so that my audience can see not only a professional view of my year with the images that I took, but also a personal view of my year and things that I went through separate from my business. The third thing that you can do, especially if you were struggling with blogging last year and you didn't blog regularly, specifically is pull from the archives. So if you want to share work that maybe you didn't get a chance to share through the year, but maybe it's 8 months old and you did a spring session that you absolutely loved, but now it's the middle of January, instead of not blogging it because you didn't blog it before, try doing a From the Archives series where you pull all of your favorite work from the archives and you share your favorite shoots that you maybe didn't have a chance to share during busy season. I think this is an awesome way to get your audience excited about your work and excited about future bookings, especially if you're booking for the spring and sharing shoots from last spring. It's an awesome way to market your business and get your audience excited about working with you in the coming season. And the last thing I recommend doing, which I think is the most important and also the most time consuming, is to begin making a blogging calendar for the year that you're currently in. So right now it's 2019 and I am working on making my blogging calendar for the entire year, because what I want is I want this off season to be spent prepping myself and making my life as easy as I can for the remainder of the year when things get really busy. And if my priority, which it should be, is consistency in my blogging, I want to make sure that I simplify that process while I have the time to invest in that workflow. So again, in that free workbook below, I'm going to break down exactly how to prep your blogging schedule, what that should look like, how many times you should blog per week, what content you should share. But you should start thinking about the types of content you want to share, like the categories that I mentioned earlier: personal, professional, and educational. Maybe you're going to include all three of those. Maybe you're only going to include professional work, but what types of content do you want to include? Second thing you should think about is how many times a week do I want to blog and what days are those going to be? Because you need to make sure it's something that you can stick with consistently, so again, your audience knows when to check back for new content. And lastly, you need to think about the structure of those posts themselves. How long are they going to be? How many images are going to be in each post? What time are they going to go live? You need to think through each of those three pieces of the workflow. And again, in that free workbook below, I'm going to help you and I'm going to walk you through. So guys, I hope this was helpful and I'm really, really excited for this month, and I will see you guys in the next episode.